Great, thank you. I'm going to call to order our meeting of the SAU41 Governing Board, our February meeting on February 12th, 6 p.m. here at the Hollis Brookline Middle School. My name is Tom Solon. I am the board chair. We're going to go around and introduce ourselves. Who would like to start? Ann?
Sure, Ann Wake, Deepa Squall, Hollis School District.
Kate Stoll, co-op board?
Sure. Sure, whatever.
It's been a long day.
I'll accept that.
Today's capacity.
I'm here.
Holly Durlow Babcock Co-op Board.
Rob Mann, co-op board.
Jonathan Fontaine, Hollis Board.
Lauren DeGennaro, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services.
And you don't
Tom Solon, Co-op Board.
We'll play.
Carol Roy, Hollis School Board.
Raphael Zach, Hollis School Board.
Jess Lehans, Hollis School Board.
Johanna Shriver, Halligan, Brookline School Board.
Tracy Perry, Brookline School Board. Heather Reardon, Brookline School Board.
Is there someone?
Lynn, I believe, is
Lynn
here.
Powers
Lynn
is
here.
also here from Brookline.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. First order of business is to appoint a process observer. Are there any volunteers?
No, my hand was in my hair. No doubt.
Why don't you voluntold Rob?
What?
I can't write.
Why don't you voluntold Rob? Holly can't write.
You ready, Rob?
Yeah.
Great, thank you very much, Rob.
Pay for that later.
Agenda adjustments, nominations, resignations, and correspondences. I believe that Mr. Mann would like to add an item to the agenda.
A very brief item.
Grab the mic.
A very brief item. It'd probably take about 5 minutes, the
Just a second.
overall time.
Beth Williams has joined us at 6:04.
Hi, Beth.
Beth is with the co-op board. Thanks. Go ahead, Rob.
Public or non-public, Rob?
Public,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, just from a standpoint, let us do that. Let's do it at the start of discussion because we want to move directly from the fund balance discussion directly into deliberation, so we'll keep all the finance stuff together. So we'll do that at the beginning of the discussion. Hey, Rob?
Yeah, sure.
Anyone have any objections?
What's the topic?
The SAU inhabitants, and maybe we find a new place for them.
Okay.
It's basically raising a topic to put it on
Got
people's
it.
radar for a future agenda.
Sure.
You guys do have a lovely new porch, though.
We do.
It's beautiful.
We do.
Why do you think they're doing it now?
No, I know, right? I'm just saying.
After
I
they
drove by
get it all
the other
Perfect
day.
meal.
renovated.
I was like, it's a beautiful porch. Yeah, now you can stick some plants on it, drive it.
No, it increases the sale value.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
true.
Stick some potted plants
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Make some color.
Okay, any others? I just
No.
want to point out that Assistant Superintendent Lauren DeGennaro is the presiding administrative person here, so I'm deferring to her for some of these items.
We do not have anything.
So we do not have any adjustments, any nominations, resignations, or correspondences, but we do have approval of minutes from December 25 for both our public meeting and our public hearing. So at this point, I would like to have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 11th, 2025, with the following amendments. Page 5, line 32, replace here with there. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss plot. Replace page 5, line 14, replace Finnemore with Flamino, and this is regarding Lance 1 and Lance 2.
Tom, sometimes Dawn can't hear you so can you make sure you talk into that mic?
I don't think that's why she can't hear me.
Okay.
I think she can't hear me because I tried to not be heard.
Well, but you have to be heard.
Page 9, line 1 and 3, replace Chair Dulu Babcock with Member Dulu Babcock.
That's fair.
Page 9, line 17, delete there and correct the spelling of earlier. Page 9, line 26, correct spelling of information. Page 9, line 27, correct spelling of performance. Page 9, line 30, correct spelling of representative. Page 9, line 32, correct spelling of average. Page 10, line 21, correct spelling of example. Page 10, line 31, correct the spelling of improvement.
So moved.
Invest in spell check. Oh, excuse me, no, that's
Settle
not it.
down. So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, members Kellner and Van Conen were absent, and they are again tonight, so I don't think that's.
Amy's on her way.
And Allison, maybe.
Pardon me?
Allison's not here either.
No, I'm just saying we're absent
No,
for.
they were absent.
Oh, I'm
for
sorry,
that
for
one.
December, I apologize, my apologies.
So it's not an issue of voting, but just to remind
Right,
folks,
yeah.
they don't have to have been here, but they should have at least been aware of the minutes to vote on them. All those in favor of the minutes as amended? I think Holly had a hand up.
I did, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think it's unanimous what's the count? But approval is unanimous. So then we have minutes from the public hearing, that same date, December 11th, 2025. With the following amendments offered, page 3, line 10, delete which.
So moved.
W-I-H-I-C-H.
Second.
That's seconded by Beth.
Yes.
Yep.
By Johanna.
Pardon me?
Seconded by Johanna.
No,
it
by
was
Beth.
It was Beth.
Yeah.
Sorry. I gotta be quiet.
Overruled. Any further discussion, any discussion on the public hearing minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor as amended? Okay, again, that's unanimous. And we have Allison Mannion joining us at 6:09.
You're gonna sit over there.
Okay.
Okay,
You get the chocolate cake.
moving back to the agenda.
And
We
share.
are gonna open public input. It says 6:15, excuse me, on the minutes, excuse me, on the agenda. We need to keep it open for 30 minutes. Because we're opening it early, we will still keep it open until 6:45. But any members of the public who wish to speak, please come on down and join us. We will stop what we are doing at an opportune time to let you speak. Moving on to discussion. Rob, do you want to
Yeah,
bring your item
like I
up?
said, just a few minutes. We tend to look at the SAU at 4 Lund Lane, the offices there occasionally, and this board is really the main board that decides a move is in order, or a move is that they're good for another 5 years. So some of the things that maybe this board needs to consider as we move into our new season, because I think this is our last of the season before we reorganize, right? Because we'll meet, I think, our first meeting in April or May. So as part of that, we also, reorganize. We put together a SAU budget committee and things like that. So I'm thinking some of this work could be done as part of the SAU budget committee to come up with maybe some alternate locations. I happen to know there's of late there's been some properties that have come up and become available that could be an alternate site. So maybe as we move into May, maybe we put something on the maybe not that particular agenda for May, but maybe a short discussion around it, and then maybe there's some work product that the SAU Budget Committee could bring to that following May meeting after I think that's October or something. So that would allow that committee to maybe make some inquiries about alternate locations, do some cost analysis, and bring a couple of options to this board, and then the board can discuss and decide what they deem is appropriate.
Is there anything from the Hollis district or the town of Hollis triggering this discussion, i.e. any thoughts of wanting to potentially have an alternate use for the property at this time?
Nothing that I know of. It's more of me just, listening to conversations and some of the things that, other boards have presented regarding their warrant, and that caused me to think that, it's been a while since we've talked about that.
Okay.
So,
Any questions or discussion on the topic?
Yeah, just a quick
Answer your question about
Okay.
the Hollis School District. You don't need to spin that, they can hear me. We have not, there's nothing that prompted it from our side. So Rob was saying he doesn't know.
Nothing's
I'm letting
prompting
you know
it
there
that I
wasn't.
know of.
Yeah.
Heather?
I was just wondering, do we own that? Does somebody?
The Hollis
The
School
Hollis School
District
does.
owns and maintains it,
Okay.
and each one of the districts pays their
Into it.
portion of the rent, totaling $23,900 a year from everyone to maintain that location.
And the rent is essentially escrowed for upkeep of the building.
Exactly.
Correct. That's the only thing the rent is used for. It's very modest rent.
And
So
so
it goes right into the maintenance trust.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so
We have
your
a warrant
perspective
article
is-
about it every year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That just, because we have to declare where the money's going.
Yep.
And it wouldn't surprise me, because it's been a long time since the rent has been looked at, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Hollis district themselves decided, hey, let's take a look at that. Are the rents appropriate? Do we need to make changes? Because I think it's been at least 6 or 7 years since it's been $23,900.
It has been, because when
Yeah.
we were talking about renovating for Lund Lane, Rob
Yeah.
was on the Hollis board at the time in 2020. And he and I did significant work talking with the budget committee, pricing out other buildings and things like
Yeah.
that. It was a little out of the scope of what we were trying to do with the bond, but we wanted to make sure they had the information needed. They did happen to, the budget committee, when we were there for our public hearing, they did make a comment about the fact that the rent is very low, and they were asking if it's still enough to maintain the building for our tenant, which just so happens to be the SAU at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The,
And it's the right time to have these discussions as we kind of finish up this year, and maybe it's a discussion you'll look into in terms of what's the appropriate rent, and maybe those two conversations will converge, and then we can take that additional data and put that into the cake mix here and see what we want to do.
the last lease we had, had an escalation built into it. Was that an indefinite period or a fixed escalation for a fixed number of years and then no further?
I think at the
described?
time, I was pushing for a policy to be in place that the Hollis district looks at rent about every 5 years.
Because
I don't,
I think we've done all the increases that were defined.
oh yeah, it was a 3-year
while ago.
period.
Yes, yeah.
So when we changed the rent from literally, I think it was less than $1 a square foot, it was like really, really cheap. We said, hey, we're going to move it to $23,900 or $800, and over 3 years we did a incremental change because we didn't want to spike everyone's budget, in 1 year. So we just gradually did that. So over 3 years that was done, and it's been that way since.
And who has information on what the balance is in the fund, the maintenance fund for it? Is that at the SAU or is that at the Hollis?
I can look it up.
It would be
It's in
the
our
Hollis,
thing,
because
but
it's their maintenance trust that they hold.
Yeah, it's just,
It's in their
what is
budget.
the balance?
I'm just wondering how much is accumulated there now, which would be indicative of whether or not the rent is enough, more than enough, or not enough.
Not enough, right.
So,
So
on.
th-
I will
these
pull
would be
something
the
up on
questions
that.
that we would gather.
Yeah.
And if deemed to charge the SAU Budget Committee to add that to their charge, they can gather all this data and bring it for a substantive discussion for the for this board
Yeah. I feel
at the
like-
right time.
Okay, but we won't
when
have
it's ready.
we will not have that group identified prior to the meeting, so it will,
No, probably
in May-
that night.
it means, I guess depending on what you want to do, it means that it may be 6 or 8 months before that would occur.
I have the numbers for you that you asked for. The FY27 projected opening balance of our maintenance trust for Forland Lane is $88,765. The FY27 proposed funding is the $23,970, which is that yearly rent. Our proposed projects for FY27 is putting on a new roof for about $32,000, and the projected FY27 ending balance is $80,735. That is straight from our presentation that we did publicly from our warrant article on Tuesday. It's article number 4 for Hollis.
Tracy, I saw you had a question.
Yeah, thank you. For the work that you think that it would take, do you think it's within the scope of the budget committee, or do you think you'd need additional resources?
Well, normally, we've done this before, and what it normally is a separate committee, but I generally, I like to assign new committees very few and far between. So if it's another committee that we already are going to put together to do money and budgets, it may make sense to charge that committee as an additional charge. I'm not necessarily married to that idea. It's just a possibility. This board may say, no, we want a separate committee, and that's fine too.
One of the things that I was just thinking of or looking at when we are going to talk about the unassigned fund balance, I think that was on the agenda, is, how do we proportion out some of that
Yeah.
extra money? And I'm just wondering if that is a conversation that we could think about in regards to this. Like, do we use some of that unassigned fund balance money to pay for a facilitator, or do something more in depth if we really want to look at, staying in the building at Forland Lane, or looking at something else? Do we, it would be a one-time,
Yeah.
capital expense.
Jonathan?
So, my comment's a little retroactive,
Let me
and
grab the mic.
it's fine. My comment's a little retroactive, and I appreciate that Carol shared the information, but for the purposes of this governing board, the balance of the fund is a Hollis thing to worry about, right? 'Cause
Different
this
fund.
is-
She's talking about
No,
the
not
balance
that.
of
I
the
meant
governing board
The
fund.
balance of the trust.
Maintenance trust.
The maintenance trust
That's
is
different
not-
than the fund
Yeah,
balance.
from my perspective, since the SAU is the tenant, is not germane to the conversation of, do we want to look at another building? Whether the rent's going up or not, which at the moment it's not, is germane. But I want to make sure that we're keeping some guardrails in place of, as the tenant, as the SAU, looking at other solutions is completely viable. But we should not take into account what the owner, the Hollis School District, is currently doing with the property. We should be making it independent of that, because we, as the governing board here, don't own that property.
No, I disagree, because the fact of the matter is, when the rent was determined, it was determined as a negotiated item between the SAU governing board and the Hollis School District. And part of the reason for setting the rent was the cost of upkeep. So I think it is in keeping with prior discussion and the context of the relationship for that to be there. I don't think it's not a commercial endeavor. At least it was not presented as one. If the Hollis district wishes it to be viewed as a commercial endeavor, particularly for instance, in the context of, do we want to rent it out to somebody else instead? That's certainly within their prerogative. But I was just asking the question in the context of the current relationship. So, Holly?
Just, you said that we wouldn't have the SAU budget committee determined by our May meeting, but we should, because we will decide that when we do reorgs in April in each one of our boards. That's a position that we assign from our board, so we should be able to, everyone,
That's a
we
good
will
point.
know who those people are. And so this whole conversation can happen again in May, so we can decide what the charter is, whether it should be under the budget committee. I mean, it's basically Rob asking for it to be
We won't
under
have
the
the
charter.
treasurer chosen. who has it up
But we'll
again.
know, we'll have enough of the people in the room to know
Okay,
whether or
no,
not
that's-
they have the capacity to manage it within the
Got it.
budget committee.
Doesn't the
Good.
treasurer
Alright.
get chosen that day in the reorg of the board?
It does.
Right,
And
so that's,
Okay, so that would be the last
I-
member of it.
Depends what order we do it in, but.
So I,
Oh, the
No, I
last
mean,
member-
last member
so
of
this
the
is
budget
just about
committee.
agenda building,
potentially.
it
The SAU
seems like to
budget.
me, and
Yeah.
the conversation that we're having now, we're probably gonna rehab in
Can I just
May,
have a quick
Yeah.
question, not about, but like,
so we don't need to talk about
I'm
it.
assuming you've identified a few more, I'm gonna ask my question. So I mean, you've identified a few buildings, right? And so are those things that in your opinion that, or like, do we need to move quickly just in terms of real estate, or no? I guess that's.
I have no idea, I have,
Okay.
I have only anecdotal data at this
Okay.
time.
Okay.
And really, the single North Star question is that property meeting the goals and the ability for our administrators to run the business? And that's the single question. If it is, it kind of makes the committee's work a lot shorter. But at least as a board, we can say, hey, we went there. It's been 6 years since we discussed this. We discussed it again, and here's, where we're at.
Okay, and I think that
Yeah.
would impact for me how quickly we moved, so that,
Yeah.
that answers that.
But the timing's right, because once we have that and have a picture by October, then if there's any initiatives or anything that we need to budget for, we're right in line with the budget processes and the following March meeting, so.
Anything else people want to cover before we move on? Okay, thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Lauren, I'm going to turn it over to you to start the revenue activities.
All right, so you'll find in your packet the revenue and expense report. So if you look at the expenses, there are a couple of pieces that are in the negative. Under student services, that was board-approved salary adjustments. You're going to see $42,227, that's in the negative. That is money that's encumbered right now for the technology position, the consultant position that Carol has been doing, consulting and working with John.
Not me, Carol.
It's Carol Tyler,
Thank
my
you.
apologies, thank you, Carol.
Thought you were
Carol
moonlighting.
Tyler.
Carol, I was with you this morning.
This number was 49,000 in December. It's down to 42,000. We are estimating that this is going to be reduced even more because as John has been working in the role and that consulting need is decreasing as the year goes on. So right now, we're just kind of putting in the numbers that as they exist, we're anticipating that goes down. You'll see in the revenue that we are looking to use the fund balance as revenue to offset the expense. So you'll see the money there for 38,000. For 43,000 use of the fund balance. The unassigned fund balance was started at 302,287. If we use 43,641 to offset the expenses, and that's if we need that, we're not anticipating needing that much, then that would bring the fund balance down to 258,646, which is 10.6% of the adopted budget. We do typically look at a target of 7 to 10% for the fund balance, but that's where this would lie if we needed the entirety of that 43,000. But we're not anticipating needing that as of now.
Lauren, there's a, under the revenue section, there's the use of fund balance of revenue, and there's also a use of miscellaneous revenue. What is that?
So miscellaneous revenue is just some interest and rebates that we get back.
Okay.
So we're expecting that 6,000 total.
Great, thank you.
Any questions on that? Okay.
I don't know whether this is where this falls, but we had talked about funding the consulting work for the job descriptions. Has that already been captured?
That's been captured, because that has started, and that's been captured within this.
Okay.
And I'm not 100% which line it's in. I can find out what
But
line it's in.
the only
but
reason is that I
Yep.
thought it was going to be funded out of the.
The fund balance?
Yeah.
I can, let me find out
So I'm just
for you
wondering if
where
that's
that
the-
is from.
If that's the difference
Yep.
between the expected and the.
I will find out where that is.
It was a $3,000 to $6,000 amount,
Yep.
so it's not a huge swing.
Yep. Okay.
Any
Are we moving on to the part 2 of the fund balance, or is that all part of this conversation?
If there's any more questions on this, and then I'll move on to part
Okay,
2 when,
okay.
as long as everyone's good.
So this is establishing
This is number
what
one.
we
Where
have.
our fund balance is, and then I'll move
Okay,
on.
yeah, no,
The
I
operating
don't,
point.
I don't
Yes.
I don't want to jump ahead.
No, I just want
No, that's fine.
to make sure that people are clear on what we're leaving. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So use of the fund balance. So I wanted to speak a little bit about a request that we're looking to make in regard to soft docs. I've created some copies. I didn't make 17 copies because it's just kind of like an overview of the company and what they offer. It's called soft docs. I'm going to explain what it is, and I'll pass them out if you'd like to see them. You can make fun of my stapling. The staple's on the bottom. I'm sorry, I apparently cannot use a photocopy machine, so you'll see that piece to it. But what soft docs is, John Boucher and I have been researching different software capabilities to help with the efficiency of paperwork within the SAU. So starting at the SAU level, but then there are pieces to the software that would be used at the building level, and that it would help streamline the efficiencies from the buildings up to the SAU. So we've done demos and researched and interviewed tons of places. SoftDocs really stood out as the front runner for what our needs are. They specifically cater to education systems. They are in K through 12 and college systems. They are kind of a full function operation, understanding the logistics of education needs with HR, with business, with student services, with technology, and all those pieces. So as I said, I could pass some of this out if you want to see it, but really what happens is we have a few different software pieces. A couple of things we'd be able to eliminate right away, but over time, as we built and used SoftDocs, over years, we'd be able to part ways with some other software pieces. So we'd be able to kind of budgetarily handle it in that way. There is the quote that we've been given. There's a piece for the software, and then there's a piece for a one-time implementation fee, and that's what we're asking the SAU Governing Board to consider funding as a one-time expense. And that is $47,565. So the implementation, it's a train the trainer model. The SoftDocs would train. Right now, it would be myself, John Boucher, and Carrie Marsh would be the ones who are trained to implement this. It has really wonderful workflow capabilities, form building capabilities without coding and without all these pieces, very functional and very manageable. And then Carrie, John, and I would deal with training the staff.
Does that 47,000 cover all three of you?
Yes, it's one-time implementation fee regardless of us. Yes.
Can you give some examples of how the software will be used and benefit?
Sure. So when you look at the Human Resources Department, Student Services, Technology, Business Office, right now we don't have a system where we can all talk. Here, we could pass these down. Here you go. There you go. Thank you, Anne. We don't have really an efficient system where our departments can kind of talk to each other. And this deals with the onboarding process, where our onboarding process is still majority in paper and not electronic. So when we are onboarding new staff, when we do onboard new staff, and then we have to set up their technology, and then we have to set up their contracts in different pieces, we're kind of still circulating a lot of paper and circulating a lot of emails and a lot of pieces. This would tie all of our workflows in together. So onboarding is a major one. When we look at my world of student services, the contracts that we have, the paperwork that we have for the different processes for special education and for Section 504, we've had to use part of the feature of this also, in addition to the workflow piece, is electronic signing of documents. We've used DocuSign, we've used Adobe, very costly pieces, and really what started this hunt was I need a more cost-effective e-signing platform, and DocuSign was not cost-effective at all. Adobe is proving to not be very cost-effective. This is an unlimited e-signing platform, whereas every other e-signing platform charges you per email, per signature, per envelope, whatever they want to call it. So that's one of the features that would be across the entire SAU. And we'd be able to eliminate the cost of Adobe and DocuSign and those pieces. But even just the e-signature piece of that is a huge cost for an unlimited feature.
Can I ask, how is the student data protected? Because if you're putting like 504 IEP stuff on there, like how
We're not putting necessarily those pieces on it, but we have a data privacy agreement. All of that is all set and that's secure. But there are other pieces of things that need to be. It's not that we're necessarily storing the IEPs and 504s in this platform, but just like we would send out the e-signatures through DocuSign or through Adobe, it would be sent out through this software.
Okay, but I guess what I'm wondering is the software going to be housing any like sensitive student information that could possibly be?
No, we're looking at the repository storage for HR, for files, for those pieces, for some student records. It's not necessarily going to be used for special education records.
Okay, but same with staff. If we're using it for HR,
Yeah.
is that
Yep.
information going to be protected?
Yes, everything's protected. Our data privacy agreement is 100% protected.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's a big thing these days.
Yes.
So just
Yep.
want to make sure that
Yep.
everyone's
Yep.
personal business is personal.
Yes.
Does this replace anything? I mean, I know you mentioned Adobe and DocuSign, but
Yep.
those are just e-signing examples.
Correct.
So what else are we going to be able to remove the cost of when we do this?
So it's going to be removing some of the cost out of Frontline, which is
okay.
our system that we do some of our HR through, some of our time cards through. There's some pieces and functionalities that are in that are going to eventually be woven into this.
Okay. They've been around for like
And
25
that's some of
years.
the long-term pieces.
Just, SoftDoc's
Yeah.
been around for like 25 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Just for the great.
Yes.
good
No, it
knowledge.
has. It
They've
has.
been around for a long time.
Yes, it has. It's been more well known on the West Coast and in the South. It's like working its way up to the Northeast.
I
So-
appreciate that we're looking for and continuing to kind of stay looking for things.
Yes.
My priority is just making sure everybody is.
Yes. No, ours is too. Confidentiality is my whole job.
I know it
what
is.
you
It's literally my whole job. Yes.
I'm just gonna,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna, that's what that you
Yes.
answered that question, so I
Yes.
think we're good.
Yes.
So, Lauren,
Absolutely.
part of the issue is the expense of e-signature, and then the other part is that your systems that you are digitally storing documents are not integrated, is that?
It's not even only the storage of the documents, but it's the communication. So I'll give an example. So we hire somebody. It kind of involves in a way all of our roles, the HR, business office, the technology, my department at times, depending what the role is. And we're literally, HR could have a document, the person comes in and physically signs it. That gets passed to technology, it gets put into a spreadsheet, it gets passed to somebody else. And this is a workflow where you can it's signed by this person, moves on to the next path. And it has that efficiency within the system where we're not having to kind of look for each other all the time in that way. And we won't have as much paper.
Whose time will be saved by use of this?
All of ours. All of ours. Selfishly myself. Carrie's will definitely, John's will definitely. I'd say John, Carrie, and I at first would be the most immediately impacted. I think that the business administrator and the superintendent and curriculum superintendent will be down the line, because we have kind of a 3 to 5 year vision for this, because this is a platform that if we so chose, teacher evaluations can go into this platform, or the forms for that, the forms for some of the pieces for recertification. This has a lot of possibilities, so we're starting with our most high impact ones that we need right away with the e-signature, with the onboarding, with the technology, and then we want to, we're going to explore everything it can do and eventually weave in the other pieces.
Can the signature portion of it, or any portions of it under the agreement that you're proposing, be used by the school districts as well, or?
Yes.
Or will the
Yep.
license have to be expanded, or?
No, so the quote that I'm telling you is just for the implementation fee at the SAU level. We have another part of the quote, that's the software itself, that we're going to be having funded by the individual school districts, because they're going to use it right away for the e-signatures and those pieces too, because I need those across the SAU, because we have a lot of people who have to get a lot of things signed across the different districts. So that piece will be funded separately.
And how does the ongoing cost of soft docs compare to current budgeted tools that we have?
With what we're using it for and the quotes that we're breaking down, we're staying within the budget of that. But so for FY27, then we're going to be taking a look and seeing what functionalities we're going to be able to get rid of and what we can add to for FY28.
So it isn't going to be a cost adder to the
It
budget?
should not be, because we've
Roughly
been
in and
pulling
out.
things, yes, we've been very careful, like, and I've been working with soft docs to say, okay, well, let's lower the cost a little more. So I've been trying to kind of get that cost to a place where we can have it, where we can function within that.
And who will you, Carrie, and John be responsible to train?
I mean, I'll be training my staff that will immediately be using it for the e-signatures.
Does that include in the individual districts who are
Correct.
part of your team,
Yes.
but not truly part of your staff?
Correct. But because again, like it's the SAU function is our main priority. The e-signature piece is what's going to be going out to the districts as the
I'm just
kind of
wondering
separate
is,
component.
could you have other trainers, other people being trained within this field? Would it cost additional money if you have more people?
I believe it would cost additional money if we had more people,
I'm just
from what
wondering,
John and I were getting.
But it's more of a train the trainer.
It is a
model.
train the trainer model, so Carrie, John, and I are confident that we can kind of divide and conquer.
I'm just
Yeah.
concerned about the demands on their time now, and if
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're taking
This
20%
is-
of their time
this-
to train,
This is worth it. It's worth it.
what are you going to
it's
not
worth
do
the
it
time.
to do that?
I'll do it on top of everything else. This is worth it.
Lauren,
This is worth it.
if we approve this, how quickly can you get the e-signature piece implemented?
So the reason why we're doing this like mid-year is because we would start this right away. So if you approve this, we would look to do this now, and then we do all the training from now till July 1. Not all the training, as much training as we can between now and July 1, so we can kind of be fully functioning and up and running. You know, we'd be able to start all the e-signatures now, but we'd be kind of in a really good shape for July 1.
Okay, so just as a person.
That's why we wanted like implementation now.
Yeah, as someone who gets a lot of things to e-sign, how is it on the other end? So like, it sounds like it's really helpful for you, but like on a parent point of view, how easy is it to like?
It's so easy. So I did both ends. I did the demos. So it's really functional both on a cell phone. I'm sorry.
I'll just ring up my dial for it.
I know it is, but it's on a cell phone, both on a cell phone and on a computer. It adapts to whatever device you're using, which is great because a lot of different platforms out there don't. You know, if a parent wants to sign on their cell phone, it has again, like the way that it rolls the signatures, if there's multiple, is very visually intuitive and easy to follow, much better than what I've seen. Adobe is my least favorite thing in the world. DocuSign was a little bit better, but it was incredibly costly.
No, I mean, I think those are
Yep.
probably some of the main questions. Is like, if you're going to be rolling that out immediately,
Yep.
I mean, because the parents probably get used to doing it as too, and so it sounds like it's pretty user friendly on both ends.
Yep.
Okay.
And this is for, and again, obviously, yes, it's for parent signatures and communications, but we deal with a lot of contracts and invoices and different pieces, and all of that is part of this as well. Tracy,
Just a couple of questions. So in terms of the workflow and how it kind of rolls down from the SAU or rolls up from the school districts, it sounds like we're going to start at the SAU level
Correct.
and really roll it down. And then could you just explain a little bit more that there are many things that have to be signed and that have to be communicated from the school, from the districts up to the SAU. So so that's the workflow, and is that the reason why the districts would then be assigned a portion of the software cost every month?
Correct. Yes, because the functionalities of the software, once we have it rolling and up and running, the building levels can use this to be more efficient in their systems too, because they can then build their workflows. We have building use forms. We have, duty assignments. We have things that teachers have to kind of communicate back and forth with the administration or with, the offices and stuff. So there's a lot of functionalities within the schools that they can use this software too. When we hire new staff, any of the administrators at the building levels, they have to send hiring packets up to the SAU. We're sending paper hiring packets right now up to the SAU, and so we're literally like filling out, typing things, filling out papers, and we're sending hard copies into office mail, and we're doing so even just as simple as HR, and that's just one example of different pieces that have to go up. In my world, I have my administrators for student services who have to do different cost requests, different items like that. We do summer authorizations. All of that right now is on paper, and all of those things can be much more efficient coming up to us with this.
Yes, Sorry, just
Yeah.
one more question
Yeah.
to go off of Tom's point of train the trainer. I just wonder if there is any maybe thought or would be of help if the technology SAU person that we have, I'm sorry, I don't.
John. Yeah.
If that would be something that he would incorporate into his role, if that would be within the scope of his role, so that, yes, you and Carrie and John would be kind of super users, but then he would be responsible if, building staff. would-
Sure. Yes. Yes, no, that makes sense, and I think that those are things that we're gonna fine tune as we go, like if there's any, kind of glitches or things that have to be, who will be the point person, which I would imagine that would probably be John, but all of us having that knowledge base is good.
What is the way the motion will be worded, will have a not to exceed amount. What should that amount be in order to cover your needs?
The quote that I need is 47,500. This is so small. 506.
You said 65.
I said 60. My glasses don't help me because they're distant. 65. I'm literally gonna put up. I just want to triple check because I really can't. This is unbelievable.
I'm just wondering, do you want us to round
Yeah,
up to
565.
50K?
So I was gonna say, if you want to round up to 50,000, I would not foresee needing it because they are very direct and comprehensive in what they do. But if you want to, if we're gonna do a not to exceed, I think 50,000 would
Just
be
in
fair.
terms of process, if we approve this tonight, does this have to go to each one of the districts before you can get it started, or do you?
No, this implementation fee is for we're looking at SAU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For this year 0. that
So
we're talking
would there
about.
be potential other implementation fees?
No, it's a one-time implementation fee.
But for the districts?
It's a train the trainer. It's a one-time implementation fee.
Oh, okay, so you would be the implementation person,
It
okay.
might affect budgeted licensing fees that get expanded, but that's not being requested to come out of this.
Correct.
Yeah,
this
right,
fund.
right.
This is
It's a little outside
At
scope.
this time.
Correct.
In purchasing the software for the platform, I'm on their website, so is everything included, or are there different levels that would potentially cost more down the line?
No, everything's included.
Everything is included,
Mhm.
okay, because it looks, I'm all for streamlining.
Yes.
I know exactly how much
Yes.
time
Yes.
paperwork and that kind of thing can take, and
Yes, and it's beautiful, even building form, and being an education company, they have templates in there for literally anything that could exist in education, so you could even use their templates, or he was showing me how to build forms. I took forms that I have to use every day, and I was able to build forms in there, and I'm not a computer coder, whatever, and I was able to build forms in like 5-10 minutes. Build forms that look exactly like our forms. Like, so if I can do that, anyone can do that. So, it's so functional, the way that they do it. It's like a drag and drop.
So I've also been
Kind of
going around
model.
on their website, and I noticed it does integrate with different SIS programs. I'm
Yes.
assuming Power School. What about Parent Square, in case you had anything you wanted to send out via that directly from SoftOps?
Yep.
Does that integration?
So I don't know if that exists for Parent Square at this point. John and I can look into that. We were really kind of looking at this from that high level systems functionality, but yes, it does have the potential to speak to the different systems, so we can see if Parent Square.
I would be more concerned about Power School, because
Mm-hmm.
with this, looking at what it can do, it might be something eventually, you can generate transcripts and all,
And
it's
we could
actually
store them
really
there,
quite
whatever.
nice.
This
I'm
is
looking-
really-
The
yeah.
initial look, it's quite nice, but I just read where it says it connects to several different SISs, and
Yes.
I just
Yep.
would be curious. I would assume Power School, but I would never always
Yes,
assume.
yep.
If you don't, I just think it would be good if you guys get it, you love it, you want to expand it, you also don't want to hit a roadblock
Right.
all of a sudden if they don't talk to Power School.
Right.
Well, they talk to Power School, it's on their integration page.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yep.
Okay, I missed that.
I had a question, so originally you're looking at this for the signature component. Now, I recall you said that we're replacing Frontline with this.
Well, functionalities of Frontline, we're going to be exploring which parts can be eventually replaced, yes.
Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out is so where is our current process data held? And what data are we moving into this solution with this initial setup? And then how are you planning on, because you're talking about getting efficiencies in place, which is great, but how are you going to manage having the disparate systems with this new one coming in? Because the integration is like, I do this stuff, so it's
Yep.
like integration is a wide term. What's being integrated is the question, and the reason I ask is more the to the point of data integrity. Like, I don't know if the current solution we use is a cloud-based solution. I don't know if this is going to also be a cloud-based solution. I don't know if it's going to be housed in their local, North Carolina data center. And then if we're doing things on paper, which is malleable but fundamentally more secure these days than computers, moving those things is also a concern to some extent. So I'm just trying to figure out so we're asking to pull the trigger on the integration, and I know that's the question on the table, but for me, the question is, what does that integration kick off, and what are the controls around it that this will start rolling?
Before you, I just want to clarify, and I'm not saying don't answer the question.
Yep.
But what we are being asked to approve is how we pay for this. We're not being asked to approve the purchase. So if the if the superintendent decides that this is the system that is supported, they are free to purchase it without any action from us. What we are being asked is whether we are willing to fund it out of the fund balance as opposed to it being paid for out of the operating budget. I do want you to discuss it because I think it's good to have these things questioned. But ultimately, I just want to remind people that we're going to have we're going to have a motion because if tomorrow something came up that all of a sudden blew this package out of the water, but they found an alternate one that was in something that we approved, they wouldn't have to come back to us and re-justify it because they're in a different package. Does people understand the clarification?
Thank you for that.
Okay. So,
So I think I understand your question. So if I am going on the wrong track, just stop me.
Highly technical question, I get it.
So a lot of what we do, like I said, is paper. Okay, so this would start to eliminate some of that paper. And then as far as how the front line is used and certain functionalities of that is used, those are not things. That's the long-term plan, because we do need to kind of see how each thing plays into each other, and we need to experience it and build it for that to happen. Right now, we're going to be building a system where our paperwork gets out of paper and the workflow can exist online to help with that efficiency. That's where we're starting. And the e-signature. Those are the pieces that we're starting with. We'll have more to kind of report as we do this year to year because we'll be able to see how the systems can then shift into each other.
I guess it's
Does
fine.
that help?
I understand Jonathan's question,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is going to be implementation. My interest would be as much curiosity
Sure.
as concern, but I think that's an area where you probably would have to fall back on some of John's experience.
Correct.
To get those kind of answers. And if it is something that's appropriate, I would suggest that you talk with your board chair and perhaps have something at your board meeting asking for a presentation
do that, yeah.
on the topic. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think the foundation of my questions and the reason it's a little more exploratory than expected is it's a twofold. One is, if we take this money out of the unassigned fund balance and we needed it for something else, yes, in theory, they could take it out of any other line item they wanted to other than the unassigned fund balance. But at the same time, they may not if we don't give them this money because they're not just taking it out of the existing budget right now. So
Yep.
it's a balancing act, so I appreciate the clarification. But that was where the question of do I give this money for this particular thing in this particular way,
Yep.
or do we hold? And if
No,
it really is
I
useful,
understand.
go to the budget, yeah.
I didn't want people to think we're headed down a whole
Whether they
different
can use
path.
it or not, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think there's always this balance, I mean, we talk about it at the Hollis School District as well, of not wanting to have things that are recurring expenses come out of the fund balance. That's something that lives in an operating budget. The reverse can often be the same, right? If it's a one-time expense, it's a good place to pull from. Thus the ask.
I'm just gonna break in at the moment and let folks know that it's now
6:52.
6:52 and closing public input.
You rang the bell.
And also to just make a note for Dawn, in case she didn't pick up on it, that Amy arrived at 6:30.
I just wanted to speak to one more piece about the security. What this company did and, assured us of that no other company did also is, and again, this just shows how much they know education, is that with the security, they are 100% FERPA compliant. Okay, so there's FERPA compliance, there's different federal regulations around that for some pieces of the education. They have GDPR, other local pieces. And then as far as the e-signatures, they are, there's a compliance piece to that and what that has to be certified through. That's all set, and there's a change coming to that April 1st. They're already prepared for that. So all those pieces coming down the pike, they're very much entrenched in that compliance world, and that means a lot to me.
Yep, I also saw on the website, they're not only NIST, but they're SOC 2, and that is a huge deal to get security-wise.
Yes.
For those of you not in the IT
Yes.
world.
I had to
getting a
learn about
SOC 2
that. That's what I was trying to think of.
Getting a SOC 2 certification takes years and very detailed step-by-step processes and security
Audits.
protections and audits. It's a lot. So the fact that they are any of the questions you were asking, I think just them being SOC 2 certified alone is
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the NIST 800 as well, so.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, and so those are the pieces that, that I was looking for, because again, obviously the security is vital, but it's that little bit of a different language with education versus other things that they are obviously, that's what they made their business.
Just two quick follow-up
Yeah.
questions. The 47,000, will that train you on everything? So if you guys do choose to expand later, you would already be trained. You wouldn't
Correct.
have to go back for more training. Or
Correct,
anything you
but
would
he even
cover.
said to me, if we have questions down the road, they'll answer all those questions and they'll do that. We're gonna have someone with us kind of along the
But
way.
the 47 then covers, this is everything. that
Correct.
Our stuff can do whether or
Correct.
not you're using it, you're trained.
Correct, but they have someone with us all the way,
okay.
so that obviously we need a refresher. Every single thing that we do for training is recorded. We get every single piece of paper, both hard copy and electronic, to have in our offices. And like I said, everything's recorded and we could refer back to.
My second question is, just speaking of compliances, is this ever a software that would be used for is it would this ever need to be HIPAA? Would it ever be used for nursing, if the nurses were or do they have their own?
I doubt it, only because I can't think off the top of my head in a situation where we'd have to have anything signed or transmitted through workflow that has to do with health. I'd have to ponder that, but I don't have a
It sounds
process that we need that for.
It sounds like they're very security conscious, and if that's not a normal process, we could probably. I would just. If it is something that down the road we're considering, we would. I would feel better knowing that platform is also HIPAA.
Sure, of course, and I would be surprised if it wasn't, but sure.
I would, yes, based on everything that they have, it sounds like that was just
Yeah,
my
definitely.
thought.
No, I
If
appreciate
we're
that.
using it for nursing, I want to use it for.
No, I appreciate that.
Under enrollment, it does say something about health history, but I'm assuming that's
That's if you're storing and stuff like that. But again, that's the piece where we have PowerSchool for some of those pieces, so it would be, again, like I said, John and I are very excited about this. So we have, you can tell the passion is exuding from me. But again, it is kind of like a 3 to 5 year vision plan for this, because we have to take those steps to, get that functionality.
Okay. If people are okay with it, I would like to move on to the deliberation portion of this, which is focusing on allocating the funds. So before getting into the discussion, I'd like to have a motion to approve, to approve the recommendation of the administration to utilize an amount not to exceed $50,000 from the unassigned fund balance to cover the cost of implementation fees associated with district-wide workflow and form storage software.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Rob, second by Carol. Boy, quick on the trigger.
No, it's fast.
Gunslingers.
I just in rough numbers, as was presented, the expenditures proposed so far for the contracted services bring us to an approximate 10.6% of budget amount. $50,000 would represent a little less than 2%, so we'd be in the 8 to 9% range after such an expenditure.
And
So
where do we like to keep that?
it says the target is 7 to 10%.
Okay, so we'd still be pretty.
So we're slightly over. This would bring us
Back in.
a little bit under the recommended top end.
I think at our last meeting too, we discussed wanting to bring it down anyway.
Yeah.
Because we had.
But,
So nice.
yeah,
That's what I
I
love.
wanted to give people that context so that we're there.
So
Is-
Lauren, good news for you.
I know.
So-
We haven't said yes yet.
I know,
We haven't
I
said
know.
it. I mean,
So is there
Just the hope,
any
just the hope.
discussion about the funding mechanism and the allocation of funds from the fund balance?
I think I do.
Tracy.
I was looking at the fund balance and, you know, kind of trying to wrap my head around what expenses we could, you know, possibly use the unassigned fund balance for, since it is for really specific uses, one time, SAU level. And, you know, I was looking at, especially, I think, in light of Rob's talk about the building, I was thinking of the building, the SAU building. We don't have a capital reserve fund, do we, for the SAU, or?
No.
Okay. So I guess in light of that, I just wonder if some of those unassigned fund funds could be allocated for that project of looking at the SAU administration building, you know, what work would go into if the SAU did need to move to a new place, or if we wanted to do, like, help with improvements. It might not be in the scope of how tenants and landlords work, but
I think the short answer to your question is yes, but they would need to be brought up as standalone items as opposed to a blanket one. So the only impact on this discussion is the fact that this is potentially removing funds that you might want to use for another purpose down the road.
yeah, so I'm wondering if we could do like $10,000 to help fund a study, like we did for at Brookline, we did for the co-op. I know we had to do a warrant article for that, but because this would be from unassigned fund balance, could we say that $10,000, like $50,000 goes to the software and $10,000 goes to like a SAU study committee to find a home, you know, or to see if we need to reallocate?
I would recommend against mixing those motions. I would.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, two different things, but but
We can't
having
do
that on the.
We can't do it tonight because it
okay.
wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
If we're going to have such a proposal, it would need to be a posted agenda item to have such a discussion.
And it looks like we're gonna talk about that in May, so it might be a really good time to have that conversation, because we could still have time
Okay,
to
that's what I
dedicate
was.
to, it would be
Yeah.
fine, because Rob's suggesting we start the process in May.
Okay.
So you'd have like 3 or 4 months, like May to October, to like do that. So I think you'd
Okay.
be fine in May to make that recommendation. Just make a note of it and remember, because
Okay.
I would forget if I were you.
Yeah,
so-
no.
I'm also writing it down.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
you
I got
let
it.
Lauren know. Hey, Lauren, you'd like to talk
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, no, that was just one of the things I was concerned about. I didn't know if at this meeting we had to decide, you know.
No,
Okay,
no.
that's awesome.
But if
Great.
you wanted to spend $280,000 in May, then this
Yeah.
vote would impact that,
Yeah,
so.
no, I mean, unless Ralph thinks we, no, I'm gonna put it back on him.
And I did the math really fast,
Rob's
so I could be wrong.
taking on a new role as a general contractor, and that's just a process.
Like,
Yeah,
this is the last time
I'll
I-
bill early and often.
Jonathan?
That was going to be my major comment, is with the $50,000 removal from the projected ending balance, I mean, you're looking at 208 left over. So even if you're looking at another 50 towards something, that would work fine. So for the purposes of this one, it's like, we'll have about 200,000 left over after, if we approve, so.
I think this is a great idea. It sounds like you guys have really done your research, and again, as somebody who gets a lot of those documents to e-sign, I also hate Adobe and would like to kick it out a window, so, yeah, I'm fully in support of this, and I think that my questions about just like safety and who's accessing data have been answered, which is really my biggest one, I know for you too, Lauren, so I'm fully in favor of this, because I think anything we can do to like streamline, get caught up, make it easier for everybody is a win in my book. And 50,000 really for software and like training, like that's not too bad, especially with a one-time fee, I feel like.
I think if you look at this in the context of labor reduction,
Yeah.
the amount of labor it can potentially save versus the cost for either temp help. You know, they, when we were doing some of the interviews, they were talking about the number of times they have to photocopy things to pass them around. And so now, so it not use of time, money.
And apparently I
resources.
can't use a photocopy machine, so save me.
It is well
So really, it's to
documented
benefit everyone that has to get
that the
something from Lauren.
photocopiers and printers do not like Lauren, so, yeah.
Is there any further discussion?
No.
I'm sorry, just one last question.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense of what the monthly subscription might be, or does it depend on users and what we use
It's
it
not
for?
gonna be monthly, it's gonna be an annual, and it'll be
Oh.
split among the districts, and it's looking at,
You want me to read it?
again, it's so tiny. So for the software piece, it's gonna be about 30,000 a year, split among, and then that goes down over time.
So that essentially is half goes to the co-op and the
Yeah,
quarter goes to
about.
each of the elementary
Well,
districts.
I mean, and how much are we paying right now for the stuff that isn't working and or?
Yep,
is, like-
Adobe is just about 18,000 and change. DocuSign for limited number, and this is only signing features, to be honest. I mean, Adobe has a few other functionalities in the license. I mean, that's a little different, but DocuSign we were spending on any given year upwards of $12,000-$15,000, and that was only for e-signatures, and that was for a limited number
Yeah,
of
so this sounds like a
envelopes
really bad
that
deal.
you had.
Inclusivity, like for what we're paying, we're getting
Yes.
a much better scope.
Yeah, because what this does is like, she can set up to say, once Allison signs it, then it goes to Tracy, and then once
Right.
Tracy signs it, it goes there. If you wanna do that in DocuSign,
You
that
can't.
no, you can, but
Oh, I
it's
never even
expen-
saw-
it's
yeah.
expensive.
Every hop
Yes,
is
and
money.
it's
Every
not-
hop is additional money.
Correct, yes, yes.
But you have to pay a different software level to even
Yeah.
get that feature.
Yeah,
Correct.
that sounds
And
like.
and then it's a per hop. So it's
Yeah, it's a fascinating
Would you be
world.
able to use this for manifest? Signing manifests?
So I think so. We need to work that out, though. And again, this is what I'm saying. The possibilities are endless. So this is what I'm saying.
I'm like a sales
I'd be careful.
I know.
He's a rep for soft
I think we're ready to vote.
Good idea.
I
Okay.
move to approve the recommendation of the administration to utilize an amount not to exceed $50,000 from the unassigned fund balance.
I second.
We already,
Thank you.
we already have a live motion on the floor.
Oh, that's
We're
right.
ready to
I think he
vote.
made the motion.
Double,
Oh, wait,
double
you seconded it,
stacking
Carol.
motions.
I think Carol seconded it.
Stack
Yeah,
those
I did
motions.
second it. I'm sorry.
She's
I'm
thirding it,
super
too.
into
Third
the
and
next thing
fourth
that
thing it's training.
Okay.
Right,
Let's-
it's on the floor.
Let's live on the edge and try for it. All those in favor? It is unanimous. And do we,
Oh, man, it's funny.
15 now?
Yes.
15.
All right, well, I'm
Thank
going
you.
crazy.
Okay,
High five.
congratulations.
Thank you
Enjoy
very
your-
much.
Don't
Thank
say we
you.
never
Enjoy your
Thank you. I will.
subscription.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that you're so excited.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support.
I think more exciting than new software.
Well, okay, that's not true.
John and I are very
absolutely many things that are more exciting than new software, but I'm glad Lauren.
Oh, Cindy.
You're missing Cindy.
Cindy's missing.
Lisa, are we at 16?
Yeah.
We're at 16.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay, so that is the only thing that we have, the last thing we have prior to going into non-public. We do have, any other business, but we'll go for a report out from the process observer, because I'm not gonna have you
Already?
process.
Wow.
You're not gonna have you observe later, because I don't wanna hear after the non-public.
All right, very well. Well, we started the meeting just a few minutes late. We did have an agenda adjustment related to 401 Lane. We entered into deliberations early at 6:55 PM rather than the posted 7:30 PM, so kudos to you. And with any luck, we're going to enter into non-public in about 7:07.
So good job.
So good job. You may have a future in doing this.
I hope not. I'd like a motion to enter non-public.
Can you hand me the motion and I'll read it?
Yeah.
Not that one.
To enter non-public under RSA 91-A SAU41:3, Roman numeral 2, sections A, compensation, and/or C, reputation, and likely both.
I move that the board by roll call go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, and C, to discuss a matter which, if discussed in public, would likely affect adversely the reputation of a person other than a member of the body or agency itself.
A second. I'll
Second by Allison. This requires a roll call vote. We will start with the non-speaking parties on this end.
I approve Heather Ridden. Tracy Perry, yes.
Jesslyn Powers.
Beth, aye.
Johanna Shriver Halligan, yes.
Jessica Lehens, aye.
Raphael Zach, aye.
Carol Roy, aye.
Tom Solon, aye.
Jonathan Fontaine, aye.
Rob, aye?
Allison Mannion, aye.
Holly, aye.
Kate, aye.
And I. Amy, aye.
Okay, thank you very much. We are in non-public as of 7:07, as someone predicted.
I'm gonna go
Good job.
bathroom.